Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Good to have you all back on this Wednesday evening, for us anyway, wherever you are. Thanks for stopping by on the podcast or on the tube or on Facebook. Much appreciated. Or even if you've come over from Instagram, that's very cool. What's happening? Going to try and quickly get in it. There's a fair bit. Want to get under that 30-minute record time. Just a quick one. Currently, if you're a photographer, you heard of LoomCube. They were kind enough to put one of my photos from the Bells Rapid shoot last week up for voting for Photo of the Week, which is huge honour to me. So thank you to LoomCube. Very, very cool. Very chuffed about that. Just getting put in there with those amazing photographers and just awesome creative people. Very, very chuffed, and that's enough of an honour. But if you do want to go and hook a brother up and vote for us, vote D. D, I think, is my photo. You can go through the LoomCube. It'll be today's post, I think it is. Every week they do it. They put up, I think it's like 5 or 6 creators and artists and put their stuff up for people to vote, and they can win some prizes. So that'd be pretty cool. If you can, shoot across and hook us up. Go check out LoomCube. And yes, they do fantastic gear. If you're looking for some lighting, definitely go hook them up. They have got some top quality stuff. Righto, obviously back at work first night. I've just finished unpacking my room again after getting forced to pack up, and then no one even come and use the room, so it was a total waste of time. Wicked, but we're done and dusted. We're back in. Give me a chance, I guess, good positives. Give me a chance to sort of set it up a little bit better. I've got all my Legion energy here, so that's cool. That'll keep me going for me edits, all my camera stuff. I've sort of done a thing. Got me lollies, my little treat. I think it's my last addiction I've got left in life. We've all got addictions. Lollies have been mine since a kid. Nothing I'm going to do about it, unfortunately. I cannot help myself. Rightio, so that's pretty much it. Back on site, back to, I guess, normal for us as it is, and let's get into it. Big day, obviously, the Apple event. No phones. The iPhone 12 didn't come today. There was rumours coming in and out. You don't know what to believe the last few days. Obviously, it didn't happen. So today was iPhone 6. No, sorry, not iPhone 6. iWatch 6, Series 6. A Watch SE, and also an iPad Air, and a new iPad Air, and a new iPad. So we're going to run through that stuff and what my thoughts on it and what they've done, and let's just get into it. Rightio, so we'll start with the Series 6 watch. It was probably one of the two big sellers. What they were really pushing today. It is realistically, it's got the on all the time face features. It's waterproof. It's got all the standard stuff. The only 2 actual new features in it that I could see was this oxygen health sensor, which I heard on the radio on the way home is actually not allowed in Australia anyway because it hasn't been passed by a medical board. So that's a total waste of disaster for us. So if you're going to buy it just for that, don't buy the Australian version. In Australia, you'll need to buy it from overseas so you can get that use of that tech. And I don't really think it's worth paying an extra, what was it? $749. So it's $599. So it's $749 for that one for the top of the range. You can go the SE, which is a hell of a lot better. That's at $500. So another $250 for an oxygen center and for the screen to stay on. It's a 44mm screen. And that's realistically, that's all it was. It's got a new S6 chip, which to people buying the watch is pretty much going to mean nothing. I think many times I said to you, I've had the Series 1 Apple Watch since they come out, and I thought it was a great idea because it was good for me for changing time zones when I was traveling from Queensland to Perth, going back home to my wife. So it was a lot easier when you land, it automatically changed times, and when I travelled overseas, it automatically changed times for the time zones. You didn't have to constantly change it like I do with the G-Shock, even though the G-Shock still running a treat and awesome. whatever reason, won't make a friggin' music player in a G-Shock. Otherwise, I'd definitely be out of the Apple Watch system. But look, the Apple Series 6, the S-Chick is 20% faster, 2.5 times brighter screen. So it's got a brighter screen on it. It comes with an altimeter, which to 99% of people is going to mean absolutely jack squat. To me, it's sort of, I guess, handy when I'm going hiking up a hill. I can see how high I went, but like it's only for like fitness addicts and professionals that need to know that'll be handy for. So that's really not a big selling point. Colors are good. They've got some really nice colors. The red and the blue look really, really nice. The product red now in the watch, that was really cool. And they've got new faces, which is pretty standard every year. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Pretty much stock standard watch stuff. And a new couple of bands. So they've got a no latch band. So it's just like a rubber elastic band. Time will tell how long that elastic lasts when you're pulling it on and off. Realistically, you probably shouldn't have to because it's waterproof and all that sort of stuff. So those rare occasions when you're doing something maybe dirty or sports or something where you have to pull it off. So maybe not too bad. That looked good. There's two of those. There's a plain one and then there's a woven one. They're actually pretty expensive. It's $70 for the base rubber watch and then $140 I think I had down, 140. Yeah, I think it's like $140 just for the woven one. And that actually looked really nice, a nice band. It's again elastic, no latches or anything. Look good, but $150 for a recycled rubber band is pretty exy. Pretty standard Apple sort of pricing. They pulled the old environmentally friendly crap. Yeah, still $150 that a lot of people don't have. Chuck that on top of the watch. You're looking at least $800 to $900 just for the watch, and you're really not getting much benefit over the Series 5. So if you get a Series 5, even a Series 4, then I wouldn't even worry about updating. If you've got a Series 3, which is my one that Jack smashed, it's probably not a bad thing because you do have the always on display. That's about the only other benefit you're going to get out of it. Now, the flip side, they did bring out the SE, which is pretty cool. The SE is that same form factor. It's got the 44 millimeters. It's got all the new architecture. It doesn't have the S6 chip. It has an S5 chip, which I'm assuming Series 5 computer stuff. That's only $500. So you're going to save yourself $250 straight away just by the screen not turning on and off. Stuff, unless you're a heavy app user on your phone, on your watch, which I'm not. I only ever use the music and the times, and that's about it. I think that'll be fine. The SE, if you're looking for just to get into that thing, if you want to buy a brand new one, $500 is a pretty good deal. That's for the cellular, and it's $429 if you just want the Wi-Fi one, which goes to your phone, which is probably really all you need anyway. The cellular, you don't forget, in Australia, you got to pay an extra $5 a month on your bill for Telstra just to be able to get the one special phone number that's attached to that watch so you can use it, and it's pretty much useless anyway. So I'd just stick to the base one, the $429 Wi-Fi, $429 for a brand new watch with all basically the latest features, body, the whole works, glass, everything else, probably cool. And that way you can chuck on a decent band, that $140, $50 band, and you're around the $550, $560 mark. So that's not too bad, I guess. Other things to do with the Apple Watch was family setup, and that's a new system where you can, if you for whatever reason want to spend $600 on a watch for your kid. I never had a $600 watch as a kid. When I was mid-late teenagers, I had a really nice watch and I lost it. I didn't buy another nice watch after that. I've always just went cheap $50, $100 G-Shocks, and it's, as a kid, you just should be telling time. I don't think you need apps. But the good thing about it is, I guess, and for those hypochondriacs out there that freak out and stressed crazily about their kids, it'll let you track your kid, which is just insane. If you don't know where they are and that, I think there's other issues involved. So yeah, Jack won't be getting one of them until he can pay for his own. I guarantee you that. But and that's about it. Like, it wasn't a real super exciting. The colours were nice. There's a couple of new bands, some watches. Really, it was just basically a chip update, and that's about it. And this heart, they went on and on about this friggin' blood oxygen sensor, and wow, like, unless you like got health issues and you need one, yeah, fantastic. But then like 99% of the people aren't going to use them again unless they're professionals or got health issues. And then the rest of us couldn't, like, it's just a gimmick. It's just, yeah, not worth the extra $250 by no means. So that's basically the watches. Now, they're also part of the watch system is obviously fitness stuff, the closer rings and all that thing. And that's probably a lot of users out there use that. So Apple's brought out basically a new app and a new system, Apple Fitness. Works with the watch, so you can watch it on any device, your phone, your iPad, your Apple TV, and it'll sync with the watch. So I thought that was actually pretty clever, even though it was basically just another app by them. It'll come with 10 workouts started. It updates weekly, integrates with Apple Music. It's $80 US a year, so about 110, $120 Australian, or $10 a month. So definitely better to buy the annual if you're going to do it. Comes with 3 months free if you buy a watch, so you can trial it for 3 months, which is probably a really good thing. You can get 3 months of actually seeing if you're actually going to use it and do all the stuff at home. And it didn't look too bad. Basically, you can set up everything on your watch, have these fitness instructors on there ready to do your thing, and when you press go on the watch, it'll start the recording of the training session and it'll sync you in. It'll have your heartbeat and all your stuff up on the screen that you're watching. Whatever you're watching it on, it'll be up there, so you can watch that. That'll be getting the info from the watch, so you don't have to take your eyes off what you're doing, which I think is a really good idea. And anything that sort of helps with the fitness side. It's got yoga and all sorts of different stuff, and I think they're really looking at expanding that and making it a big system. Now, part of that is the fact that they want to do it with this new Apple One system, which is basically a full-blown Apple subscription. No ways about it. And there's three different tiers. Basically, it comes with iCloud, so your storage, music, TV Plus, arcade, news, and fitness. Now, you can get an individual one, which is $15 US a month, so that's probably around the $20 Australian a month. You'll get 50 gigabytes of storage, which is pretty much useless. It's 20 man, 50 gig. That's like 2 videos. That's really not much storage at all. Family costs you $20 US, so about 30 Australian, and you'll get 200 gigabyte. That's for a standard user. I'd say that's probably about fair if you got a heap of photos. My 15,000 photos I've got all backed up and on here in iPhotos would blow that out. I think I'm well over a terabyte just of photos, so I can't even use that iCloud stuff at the moment. And then they've got a premium one. Now, the individual and family only come with iCloud Music, TV Plus, and Arcade. They don't come with the news app, which includes magazines as well, and this new fitness program one. If you go the premium, that adds those in. That's $30 US a month. So that's obviously the one they're really pushing for. That will give you 2 terabytes of storage. So it all depends on what you're using. If there's no way I'll use the news apps, the cloud I'm interested in, the music I'm interested in, the TV Plus I'm interested in. There's 3 there, arcade. If you've got kids, that might be good. Teenagers, that'll be pretty cool. And if you're going to use the fitness, well, then you're probably going to get some decent value. Anyone can use it in your family. Obviously, you must get some password. And then 2 terabytes. That's not a bad deal. You can probably store, like, I'm probably in excess for a lot of my photos, but you can probably store a damn lot of your photos on there for 2 terabytes. It'll have them constantly backed up, or files or stuff you want to do, or get the kids to have stuff stored up there or whatever. So that's probably not a bad deal, $30. But then again, you need to be using that stuff. I think it's $10 a month for music, $10 for TV, and the cloud, and then $10 to the arcade. So if you're already using all those three, that $30, which will be about 40 odd bucks, is probably not bad. It's another 10, 15, and you get a full system, and it's all in there. So that's pretty cool. There's a trial period for that as well, so you can test it out. So that was a big push by them this year, that full Apple ecosystem subscription. Basically, they want you to have it all, and they want you to pay one price and just put everything into the system. So very interesting. So that's pretty much the Apple Watch stuff and how all that ended up. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't really super exciting. There wasn't anything just to blow your socks off. The big seller for him was that a blood oxygen sensor. And again, I think that's purely health stuff. And 95% of people, it wouldn't be any play in making a decision to buy a watch. You'd have to be crazy just buying a watch for that. That's pretty weird. Anyways, iPad wise, now there's two iPads. There was the normal iPad, the 8th generation of that, and the iPad Air, which is the 4th generation. Now the new iPad, basically these two, the iPad was just a bit of a beef up. It's an i12. I got the A12 Bionic, 6-core, 4 CPU, and the 4-core GPU. It's 40% faster than the last one, and 2 times the GPA power. So that's not a bad deal. That's going to be $700, top of the range, and $500 for the little one. Now it only come in I think it was 64 gig and 256 gig. So 64 gigs just a waste of time. I wouldn't even worry about that. You're not going to store that much on there if you're going to use this heavily. So the $700 is pretty much your base point to get in. So it's a lot of money. It's obviously going to be fairly quick and pretty switched on, but it just all depends on what your needs are. So that doesn't look too bad. Now, the iPad Air 4 was probably the big one for them, actually. It was the only thing that sort of had any new things and new excitement to it. Full rework. It's got the square edges, a nice display. It's got, I think, five colours, a nice blue and a nice, I can't remember the other colours, but it was really nice. It's got the liquid retina display, whereas the normal iPad's only got the retina display. Well, this is a liquid retina, so a little bit better picture. Anti-reflective coating, so that's pretty cool, and true tone colors on it as well. Now the Touch ID was the big thing for that one as well. So where the power button is up on your normal iPads up here, well, now it's got a square, because it's sort of got that square bezel shape like the iPads. Now that's got there, you've got a larger button, and that's now your fingerprint sensor. So no more is it down here, which has never worked, and is bloody atrocious, that ring. So yeah, that's now up there, and they're saying that that's probably going to be a bit of a eye drop into the future, because most of them are going to start now going to that power button, and there might even be something like that on the phone. We have a power button plus a fingerprint sensor to get rid of the notch, or you never know. But that's sort of what they've done. They've gone that. It didn't look too bad. I don't mind that. It didn't really give them too much more extra bezel space. It doesn't look like it's right to the edge like I thought would be the idea. Once you get rid of that, do that. But they didn't do that either, so that was a little bit weird. It's got the A14 Bionic, so that's the brand new chip, the latest one. That's better than the A12X from the iPad Pro released this year, or updated this year. Wasn't even really a release. So that's going to be really good. 40% faster, and on the CPU, and 30% more power on the GPU. So that's got a heap of grunt into it. The iPad Air, and that's I think that's that's the iPad Air 2. So that's the 4th generation. So only 2 generations. It's pretty much going to blitz that to pieces. And yeah, that's pretty cool. It's got a fair bit of grunt for a little unit. It's a 10.9-inch display, whereas the other iPads are 10.2. So a little bit bigger screen, not much. Other good things on that, it's now USB-C, so that's pretty cool. That's instead of the epoxy lightning, finally we're getting rid of the lightning. That's one good thing about that. It's got a front face camera, is a 7 megapixel f2.2. It'll do 1080 at 60 frames a second, and it's apparently got a lot better light in it. So that's probably good for when we're doing stuff like this, and you're FaceTiming and you're in a room or something. You get a little bit better I've got a big softbox up here just to give us enough light to use this wide lens, and it makes a big difference having that built into the camera where you can handle that, such like the Sony A7S III, which is just amazing. You can be pitch black in here and you can see everything. It's just insane. Now it does do 240, the rear camera's 12 megapixel, f1.8, so that'll be a lot better for low light, 4K 60 and 240 frames in 1080 as well, so that's pretty cool. Has a little bit of image stabilization in there, so that'll be interesting to see how that is, but I really don't know many people that buy an iPad for the camera, so I think that's just basically a selling point. They've just thrown that into, I guess, put some value into the unit. I can't imagine too many. You do see tourists running around with iPads taking photos, and it just looks woeful. But even a phone would be a better quality, and the phones have got a lot better quality than the iPad. You'd be crazy, but what you've got, I guess you use. So go with it. Now it's also Wi-Fi 6, so that was pretty cool. It's a beef up. The other base iPad is just still standard Wi-Fi 5, so that's a big jump up there for the Wi-Fi. That'll be very cool. 20-watt charger, so that's that fast charger that's rumoured for the iPhone 12. That's there, and it's got a P3 wide colour gamut, so it's very, very cool. And there's 5 colours now in that. Now for the 64 gig, it is pretty expensive. I'll go for the prices. 64 gigabyte version, it's $900 Wi-Fi, $1,100 for the cellular version. For the 256 gig, which I would be looking as the base, 64 gigs not really enough. 256 gig, you're looking at a base price $1,130 Australian to $1,330. So I don't think you really need the cellular because you can Bluetooth it to your phone. If you've got one SIM card, why do you need to have two to pay that extra $200? Just Bluetooth it and just sync it to your phone. Save yourself $200. Everyone's got a phone. You've got the SIM, the data. Just use that one. Crazy. So $1,130 for that new iPad. So that's a lot of moolah. Considering, I guess it's probably not as much as because the laptops are so expensive now. But $1,100. I think when this came out, the iPad 2 was like $500 or something. So it's pretty much in two generations doubled in price. So that's pretty insane. So it'd want to have the good specs. And that's about it. Now, there's, as I said, the solo loops. That's that one called, and the braided solo loops, $70 and $140. So overall, it was obviously there was a lot of people disappointed there was no phones. Myself, one of them. That means if they're not out till October, that means they're probably going to be November before the actual phones get out. There's no way in hell am I going to get a phone off Telstra before 2021. Because normally they get released in September, they're out in October, and I'll get it mid to late January before we can actually get a brand new unit, even though you put your name down straight away. I would envisage that that's going to now be probably February, March before we'll be able to get a phone if you're going onto a plan, which is the cheapest way to do it. So yeah, a little bit disappointed in that. I think they could have easily announced it, and then we know if we wanted to buy it. At least then we could put the pre-orders in. They could get the pre-orders up then, so they knew how many to make. If they were how many to ship to each country, that would have been a smart thing. Surely they've got it all locked and loaded now to where it is. Another 4 weeks ain't going to decide what they're going to add in, I would imagine. So in that regards, I was a little bit disappointed. I have to say I'm with the guys that wanted a phone out released today. I think just purely because I know how long it's going to take to get here anyway, and now we've just added another month. So, yeah. So 2021, we might see the iPhone 12 in Australia or with me, unless you've got the money to pay for it up front. So there you go. Now, the new Nikon's, Jared Poland got his hands on, didn't get his hands on the units that Nikon hadn't released them as yet, but he got all the specs and confirmed specs on that and some prices. The 50mm, he was pretty impressed by both lenses. That's the 50mm 1.2 and the 14 to 24 2.8, I think it was 2.8. He was pretty impressed by the specs, and he talked to Nikon about it. And I think, as I said the other day, that 14 to 24, he was super stoked. He said it's probably should have been out a year ago or 2 years ago, because now they don't really have the pro camera to suit this pro glass they've got out now. But that was probably the big one. Now the 50mm, we know the price is $2,100, so that's 3,000 Australian, and then 2,400 US for the 14 to 24, which I think will be the big seller. That's going to be a really nice lens. November release for those. That's confirmed off Nikon through Jared, so that's pretty cool. We've got the prices. We know when they're coming out, and I'd say he said hopefully in the next couple of weeks that he'll have actual proper images of them and everything, and he'll be getting some units in once they get released, or some test units at least. So they're going to be great. If you've got a Nikon and you've got a Z camera, say a Z6 or a Z5 or the Z50, well, look, you've got some amazing glass, and that 14 to 24 is probably one you want to get your hands on. That's going to be the one that's going to sell pretty quick, and I think it's probably the best value for money. The 50mm are definitely sort of a pro specific use sort of thing. I've got a 50mm beautiful lens, my Pentax Takuma 8-blade, and I just don't use it as much as I used to, because it's that in between. You've got to either get close or get back, where I prefer either a wide or a longer for my landscape stuff. So it's a little tricky sort of thing, but that 14-24 sounds divine. Now, TikTok has finally been saved. It's got its suitor, if you hadn't already heard. Oracle, which is a big software company, computers, not really known to be out in the limelight. They've come in and saved it at the last sec. Everyone else sort of bailed, or the talks fell apart. Just didn't really work for them. So Oracle's come in and now partnered up with TikTok to save them from getting booted out of the state. So all the TikTok users out there should feel a little bit comfortable sleeping at night, knowing that their possible income streams are going to be saved and have a future. So very, very good news for all those concerned in that. And yeah, look, Oracle, I think it's more of a little bit of a publicity image boost for them, and to get their name out there a little bit more, which is probably not a bad thing. But they're more business type software and high level stuff. So it'd be interesting to see really why they need to be in there. But it's done and dusted, so that's very cool. And then last but not least, Instagram, after many, many years of saying they won't put links in, you can't put a web link into anything, which is a pain in the butt. You got to put it in the bio. You got to constantly go and change it in the bio if you want to put it in the bio. It makes it very tricky to sort of get people to come to your YouTube or your web page or anything like that. People don't like going in and out. They like to see the photo, and if there's something there, they'll just go on a link if they want to go and look at buying something or go to check out someone. Why do you go into someone's bio, which is a pain, because you got to click on that, then you go to their live, then you got to click in there again. It's a bit of a painful system, as we all know. Well, there might be coming. Fingers crossed, it might get across the line. Lou later was talking about this today. But the funny thing is, of course, Facebook never misses a chance, that you'll get a pop-up when you put your link in there, say website to 34 Media at Squarespace. It'll come up and say, when I put that in there, it'll say, do you want to use this link and make it active? It's going to cost you $2 US. That's right. Every single time you put a shot up, if you want to put a link in there, it's going to cost you $2. So yeah, for businesses, it's probably not a bad write-off. But for individuals like myself, who pretty much make no money out of this, and just looking to promote our stuff to maybe eventually get something down the road, and just treat this as enjoyable and a little bit of fun and a little bit of creative expression, I guess, it's a lot of money. It's $2 is pretty crazy. And then you got to constantly get it out. You're going to have the PayPal to put money in there to constantly get taken out and all that stuff. So yeah, really, Facebook never misses a chance to get some cash out of you. Rightio, that's it. We're going to run out of time shortly. But thanks for stopping by. It was a big show. There you go, Apple for September. So October, we're going to get another event. We'll see you all then. So whether you're coming or going, I'll see you tomorrow for Thursday's show. Peace.